Okay, I will call this regular meeting of the City Council to order on Tuesday, January the 9th at 6 o'clock p.m. We will begin with the invocation led by Councilman VOELKEL, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by our Mayor's Youth Advisory Council Chairman Roman Garcia. And we do ask that you turn your cell phones to whatever you do to make it quiet, and you may stand if you wish.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for another year in this beautiful town. I pray that you watch over our first responders and keep them safe and bring them home. I pray that you keep our community healthy and safe, especially during the flu season. And I thank you for all your blessings. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen, for getting us started. And I just want to say, I don't know if Mr. Cunhas will cover this as well, but I want to say to you, if you notice any extra people up here this evening, it's because we're beginning a new system for the meetings. We're using the Granicus. You'll be seeing a few different illustrations perhaps on these overhead boards. And so we ask you to please be patient with us because we've done some workshops to get used to the system, but there may be some bugs to work out. And these are not bodyguards. They're really IT people to help us if we get into trouble. Okay, that having been said, item number 1 is announcements of community interest. Mr. Cunhas.
Thank you. All right. Welcome to everybody tonight. Hope everybody is feeling good, avoiding the flu, if you can. All right. We had one big deal since we last met. I just wanted to talk about that real quick, if I can bring it up here. Looks like here we go. No, we're a little ahead of ourselves. Let's go back. We had a night in Whoville. That drew a pretty big crowd to Kerrville Shriner Park's Recreation Hall in December. The Grinch, Santa Claus, and Miss Claus all made appearances. As you can see from the little girl there at the left, not everybody was really sure about meeting the Grinch. But this was another successful event that the Parks and Recreation Department puts on each year. And we want to thank Ashley Bull and her staff for all that they do. She's back here, so be sure and say something to her later on. All right, and this is something that we were real excited about. It seems like it's taken forever, but it's here. Ribbon cutting for the new Kerrville Sports Complex will be held next Wednesday, January 17th at 10 a.m. at the complex on Holdsworth Drive. We encourage everybody here to come by and join the mayor and our city council members and our park board members as we celebrate the historic event. And then 3 days later, on Saturday, January 20th, we'll be hosting the grand opening ceremonies for the public. And that's going to run from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're going to have a lot of events out there, an inaugural games, ceremonial first pitch out, and there'll be food there too. So really looking forward to this. It's been a long time in the coming, and we're just super excited about it. Okay, don't forget, tickets are now on sale for the Parks and Recreation Department's 10th annual Daddy-Daughter Dance. This event's going to be held February 10th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Hill Country Youth Events Center. We're going to have dancing, a disc jockey, a complimentary keepsake photo, and dinner catered by Buzzy's Barbecue. Now, we're holding it at the Youth Events Center this year. They hold 500 people. The Parks Department has already sold 295 tickets. So I wouldn't wait too long, as this is one of the city's most popular events. At-the-door tickets will not be sold. So if you're interested in that, if you want more information, be sure and call the Parks and Recreation Department. And finally, like we alluded to earlier, we've got a new electronic agenda system. We proofed it I guess at the last council meeting, worked on it a couple times since then, but encourage you tonight to watch the TV screens up here. Votes will be up there and other information that's really important. And then at our next city council meeting, we'll do a presentation that shows how the public can access the system. So I think it's going to really provide a lot of benefits and a lot more information to people who are looking for that.
Okay, thank you very much. And I have one request for an announcement from the audience. Charlie McIlvain, Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Again, I'm just here to reiterate that we hope that you will participate Friday morning in our annual Cowboy Breakfast. This will be the 14th annual breakfast. Again, we have relocated. It will be on the parking lot of the Youth Event Center, so please dress warmly. But we are, in the tradition of the cowboy, we're staying outside, and we feel like it'll continue to keep the dynamics of the event going rather than shutting down and people not mingling and visiting with each other. Now, the important thing is the county has issued a challenge, and they certainly are hoping that each of you are ready for the cow chip toss. We're scheduled right about 6:30, but the event starts at 6 o'clock, so come out, have coffee, have breakfast with us. And in addition to the cow chip toss, of course, we'll have area business people involved in the goat milking contest. And then for children, we have the Frisbee fling contest. So we've got this is a family event. We've got something for everybody, and look forward to seeing you out Friday morning.
Cash prizes?
Well, not quite, but we do have, we've got plaques, so.
Breakfast,
And of
free
course,
breakfast.
the traveling trophy, and the commissioners asked to remind you that is hung in the commissioner's court for the last few years, so.
Well,
So
where it-
hopefully you'll be ready to have it moved here to City Hall.
Well where it belongs, Charlie.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Look forward
much.
to seeing each other Friday morning.
Any other announcements by council? I just had one other announcement that I wanted to make that Mr. McDaniel actually sent to each of us council members, which I think would be interesting to a lot of you, especially with the library. He gave us a report on what's happened since county members are now, since the first of the year, signing up for free library cards. And he said we have seen pretty strong activity in terms of the county use of the library so far from January the 2nd to 2018 through yesterday. We have issued library cards, according to Ms. Bechtel, to 136 new Kerr County patrons or residents, and this is interesting, and received $93.31 in past due fines. So I would say that's a success. So, all right, any other announcements by anyone? If not, item number 2 is the Visitors and Citizens Forum. Any citizens with business not scheduled on the agenda may speak to the City Council. Prior to speaking, each speaker must fill out the speaker request form and give it to the City Secretary. City Council may not discuss or take action on an item, but may place the issue on a future agenda. The number of speakers are limited to the first 10, and each speaker is limited to 4 minutes. I don't show on my new Granicus system that anyone has signed up with Ms. Craig. I may have one. You haven't turned it in. It's not showing up as a red dot. Forgive us. Would you like to speak, Bruce?
I would if you will have me.
Okay, please approach and be sure that you give name and address for her to log in.
Bruce Strakey, 821 Earl Garrett Street. I got a call this week because it's been a while since I've come back and talked about how great Kerrville is. And so I wanted to come tonight to just point out a couple of things. I know last year we really talked about downtown, and we saw the younger generation really take action downtown, and they've started to expand their businesses. They've bought or leased properties, and they're bringing new businesses down there, and we're seeing that, and that's awesome. I can tell you this year is starting out, we've got interest from developers and site selectors and investors who have already are working with us and others here in town to look at Kerrville, because Kerrville is a great place in Texas to be, and of course the U.S. And that is because we have great staff, we have great government, we have great residents, and this is just an awesome place to live. And I wanted to remind you all of that. And we see it every day in the phone calls we get at the office. And I just want to thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and Happy New Year to you. Okay. Item number 3. If we pause, it's because we're waiting to see that we can go ahead on here. Item 3A is resolutions of commendation to Jim Wilson and Paul Stafford for serving on the Economic Improvement Corporation. They are not with us this evening, but they do have resolutions of commendation that will be mailed to them. Mr. Wilson served beginning January 27, 2015, and Mr. Stafford beginning May the 26th, 2015. So thank you, Ms. Craig, for getting those, or Cheryl, in the mail for us. Item number 3B is a resolution of commendation to Matthew Miller for service on the Library Advisory Board, and he's here. If you would join us at the front, I appreciate it. while she's coming, I just want to read this resolution of commendation. Matthew Miller has served as a member of the Library Advisory Board with the date of service beginning January the 26th, 2016. And whereas Matthew Miller has served faithfully and dutifully on said board, now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Kerrville, Kirk County, Texas, that Matthew Miller be recognized for outstanding service as a member of the Library Advisory Board, and that on behalf of the citizens of Kerrville, as well as for ourselves individually, we wish to express our sincere appreciation for contributions to the city and to the community. This is passed and approved this 9th day of January 2018. And we want to have a round of applause for Mr. Miller. And I also want to say before they leave that they're moving, and that's the reason for your departure. And we wish you the best. I think it's you that's the culprit, right? Taking us out of town. Very much. Well, thank you and good luck to you. Yes. Thank you. Safe trip.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 4 is the consent agenda. We have a number of items on the consent agenda. Items 4A, 4B, 4C, 4D, 4E, 4F, 4G, 4H, and 4I. Would any member of the council or the audience wish that any of these items be removed from the consent agenda? I have Mr. Baruti?
Yeah, I wanted to pull 4F and 4I.
And did you take yours away, Mr. Vogel?
Yes, ma'am. I want
Okay, because we have some redundancy there. All right. Then I will ask for a motion on items 4A, B, C, D, E. Everything but what he said.
I move approval.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second.
He gets a second?
Yes, we do have a second. It doesn't show that. Did you push it, Mr. Ferguson?
Yes, I have pushed it. Now it should be showing. No, you don't want to withdraw it. But
So we're almost there, sir. Okay, no problem. A, B, C, D, E, G, H.
Can I get you all to, I'm sorry, we'll remove some sections. Can I get you all to do that one by one?
emotion?
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
And my apologies. First time heard.
Shall we do it one at a time, maybe? Item at a time?
No,
Okay.
it's fine still.
I guess we're gonna have to move the second We may run out of moves and seconds.
And what we're looking for is a motion to approve on the consent, items 4A, B, C, D, E, G, and H, when it gets there.
F and I.
F and I.
We can vote.
All right, we have a motion to approve consent agenda items 4A, 4B, 4C, 4D, 4E, 4G, and 4H. And we are ready to vote. Cast your vote.
Is it registering? Is it registering to you who moved it and seconded?
Okay? And the motion carries 5-0. All right, we will go back to item 4F, which is resolution number 04-2018, amending the City of Kerrville fee schedule by revising fees charged by the Kerrville Fire Department EMS and formally establishing in the second part that the Kerrville Little League may use the Kerrville Sports Complex for its 2018 season without charge. Mr. Brody, did you have a direct question for?
Not a question. I wanted to actually make a statement about it just to clarify for people what a lot of work's gone into I don't know about the EMS part, okay? I'm speaking really about the Kerrville Sports Complex part. A lot of people got involved in making this happen, and I'd just like to commend everybody that had something to do with that. The fee itself being set at 0, coupled with an upcoming contractual arrangement that's going to be worked out between the Little League and DBAT, are the final pieces to the puzzle that basically finalizes a public-private partnership between really Kerr County, City of Kerrville, DBAT, and the local Little League organization, which is KYBSA. And this partnership, as it's been defined, should allow the local youth to continue to play Little League baseball and softball, both at the original complex and the new one, without having to raise their registration fees for really the foreseeable future at all. So I'd like to thank everybody on behalf of the Little League Board, which I am part of, for making that happen. One other thing, just as a clarification about it, is, and I'm not sure if this is really the correct place to put it, but this is being listed as a fee schedule item, but Little League's fee wouldn't have gone to the city, so should it be sitting on the city's fee schedule?
Yes, sir. Per the agreement that the city has with DBAT, we felt it, because we have all of our other fees listed within the fee schedule, we did feel like it was appropriate to go ahead and list it within there, just from a precedent standpoint.
Okay, I just want to make sure everybody realizes, though, that Little League's not truly paying 0 to play out there, so it makes it look a little funny. But anyways, okay, that's all I had on that item.
What is Little League paying?
Well, it's a partnership, so it's a little bit hard to describe that, because basically those 4 entities that all have skin in the game. Little League's skin in the game is the volunteer work that they have maintaining the county complex, and it's all part of that same puzzle, is all.
Okay. Any other comments while we're here, or questions? I'll look for, I see nothing on here. So I will ask at this point for a motion on resolution number 04-2018.
Move for approval.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Brody seconds. Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve resolution number 04-2018 as presented. Please cast your votes.
All votes are in.
Thank you very much. And motion carries 5-0. The next item is item number 4I, which is listed as to reject all bids submitted on December the 19th, 2017 for the construction of the Kerrville Sports Complex irrigation pond and pump station. So at this point, we'll go to your direct question, Mr. Broody
Well,
or Mr. Hoppy.
I had two, but what, I assume it's on the amount, but what's the reason that we're rejecting the two?
Yes, sir. It's that we had two bids that were above the previously budgeted amount. And so what we've done over the holiday break was to re-engage with the engineer and do some value engineering, reduce the scope. What we'd like to do is to put that value engineered construction documents back out on the street and seek bids again that are more in line with what our budget is.
And because I don't recall, what did we budget it? What did we hope it to be?
$500,000.
Okay, that's, okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Any other questions or comments by council? If not, I would entertain.
Mayor, I have a question. My understanding right now, we do not own the property that the pond's going to be on. Is there a guarantee that we will own it before we do construction, or when
Yes,
is
sir.
that going to become owners? When will the city own the property?
Yes, sir. As you may recall, the council entered into a letter of agreement with the Callow Foundation, and that essentially the way that works is once the city engages a construction contract, that property will revert to the city.
Okay, and that's the whole 7 acres?
Yes, sir. The 7 acres directly east of the soccer complex.
Okay.
Okay, I see no more speaker requests on my Granicus system. So I would ask for a motion on item number 4I to reject the bids.
I'll make that motion.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Broody,
I'll second, Mayor.
second by Mr. VOELKEL. We have a motion and a second to reject all bids submitted on December 19th for the construction of the Kerrville Sports Complex irrigation pond and pump station. Cast your vote, please.
All votes are in.
Thank you, and the motion carries 5-0. Item number 5A is ordinance number 2018-04. Staff has asked council that this item be rescheduled to the January 23rd meeting. I believe we can do that by consensus. I think there's some more information required before we actually deliberate on this. Do I have a consensus from council to defer? All right, let's go ahead and do, I guess we'll do a motion for Brenda. Is that okay? Sorry. I'll ask for a motion then.
So move.
All right, Mr. Ferguson, thank you.
Second.
All right, second by Ms. Summerlin.
Why does it do this?
Your Honor and council, again, I have to apologize. This is it seems like it's gonna be a software issue, what we're running into. So again, my apologies from the vendor standpoint. This isn't anything that Brenda's in charge of handling here, so
Okay,
I do apologize. We are doing the best we can with what's happening.
I understand you can dock his pay, right? I'm just kidding, Mike. We understand, and everybody here understands that this is
So apologize
a work
for the
through.
delays and,
Are we going to have a motion? Is that enough language there, a motion to defer item number 5A?
I think
We don't have a, we have a motion and a second. It's not showing that.
yeah, that's where the problem is coming in. Right now, the mover and seconder is not displaying as it should.
Okay, but we do have that, and she'll make a record of that, so, yeah, I'm here. So we're ready to cast our votes, council.
All votes are in.
Thank you. And motion to defer carries 5-0. Item number 6A is second and final reading on ordinance number 2018-01, amending Chapter 10, alcoholic beverages of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Kerrville, Texas. by amending Section 10-3 licensing requirements fees by reducing the applicable fee for a brewer's permit and brew pub license containing a cumulative clause containing a savings and severability clause, providing for an effective date, ordering publication, and providing other matters relating to the subject. I don't believe there are any changes between the first and second reading.
No, Mayor. This is just an item that we began several weeks ago to try to build, if you will, for folks that don't want to open a brew pub or a brewery or similar restaurant or store in the city and not have to pay more than, say, a restaurant would that's selling beer and wine.
Okay, and we discussed this last time. Are there any questions or comments? Ms. Summerlin? Oh, I do have a speaker request form from the audience. Jeremy Walter, you just got here in time.
Moving fast today.
If you'll state your name and address, please, for the record.
It's Jeremy Walther, Pine and Plow Brewing Company, 332 Clay Street. Excuse me. I fully support this ordinance as part of a broader movement gaining momentum within our community. What began as a request from a single permit holder swelled into a community dialogue among the Kerrville Chamber of Commerce, the Kerrville Economic Development Corporation, Kerrville Convention and Visitors Bureau, City Manager and City Staff, Kerr County Tax Assessor Collector, County Attorney, TABC, Kerr County Commissioners Court, and other community stakeholders who support the local development of craft agriculture community. I'm sorry, I'm out of breath.
You're doing fine.
Not only do they support the development of the craft agriculture community, but they've identified a meaningful way to do that with action through the reduction of fees for local alcoholic beverage manufacturers. So the recent local focus on craft agriculture is a thoughtful and positive attempt to define a broader cultural movement happening in communities well outside of Kerrville. But if you strip it down and take away the marketing lingo and the specific benefits of this movement, you can identify that the driving force of it all can be summed up in one idea, and that is a human desire and a need to connect. Craft agriculture is one economic strategy that answers the need to connect consumers directly to a tangible product. Farmers markets do this. Sustainable family farms do this. Distilleries, wineries, and breweries do this. And the common thread among these is the high potential for meaningful connection among people, the land that they live on, and the products they consume, without dilution from unnecessary middlemen. This proposed ordinance will help a segment of the craft agriculture sector promote meaningful connections to the benefit of the entire community. Pine and Plow would like to reciprocate this proposed city action with an action of our own that we hope adds to the already gaining momentum of this widely supported local movement. Upon passage of this ordinance, Pine and Plow would commit our savings from a fee reduction immediately and directly to a nonprofit organization we have recognized as a fellow local partner in Kerrville craft agriculture. This organization is run by passionate people dedicated to adding vibrancy to our community by promoting meaningful connections among people, place, and product while injecting positive energy to the downtown area. This is the Kerrville Farmers Market. As one of the first beverage manufacturer permit holders and the first brewer's permit holder in Kerrville, we hope to set a precedent for all future distilleries, wineries, and breweries and encourage them to pledge money saved from local permit fee reductions towards a worthy local entity of their choice, like the Kerrville Farmers Market, who are doing extraordinary work to foster vibrancy and connections within our community. I hope you will continue this community momentum and vote to pass this ordinance tonight. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, and thank you for your willingness to commit that extra amount.
Yes, ma'am.
That's an interesting addition. Any questions or comments? I don't have any marked on my page here. So with that, I will look for a motion on ordinance number, Ms. Summerlin, or 2018-01.
Second.
We have a motion and we have a second to approve on second and final reading. Okay, we're ready to vote.
All motions are in, all votes are in.
Thank you. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much. We are now moving to item number 6B, which is ordinance number 2018-02, amending the city's zoning code to designate the Central Business District, the Gateway District, and the Guadalupe River District as design districts in accordance with Senate Bill 1004, containing a savings and severability clause providing for a maximum penalty or fine of $2,000 and ordering publication. Again, this is the second and final reading. No changes. Mr. Paxton?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Any questions or comments by council? I see none from the audience. With that, I would accept a motion on ordinance number 2018-02 to amend.
I'll make a motion to.
All right. We have a motion for Mr. Broody.
Second.
Second with Ms. Summerlin. We are ready to cast our votes.
All votes are in.
Thank you. Motion carries 5-0. Agenda item number 6C is ordinance number 2018-03, amending Chapter 66 Library of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Kerrville, Texas, by amending Article 2 Library Advisory Board to change the composition of the Library Advisory Board to allow Kerr County to make an appointment containing a cumulative clause, containing a savings and severability clause, and providing other matters relating to this subject. And again, this is the second and final reading. By the way, I believe those appointments should be on next meeting's agenda. Is that correct?
They're on tonight.
For the county.
Oh. I'm not sure when they're taking that up.
Okay. Okay. All right. Any questions or comments by council? If not, I would ask for a motion.
Mayor, so move.
A move to amend.
Second.
And a second. Okay, approval to amend ordinance number 2018-03 on second reading as stated. Cast your votes.
All votes are in.
Thank you. And motion carries 5-0. Item 7 is items for future agendas. I see no speaker marks here, so we will move to item other than what you've already been given us. Item number 8A is a project update from City Manager Mark McDaniel. Glad to have you back, by the way.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be back. So coming around right now is your monthly capital improvement project report. Just want to highlight a few items and bring them to your attention. First of all, on Singing Wind Drive construction, we do anticipate bid advertisement in this month, so we're moving along with that project quite well. Parking garage maintenance and repairs, we anticipate advertising for bid beginning in March, so we're wrapping up the design for that and the scope of those repairs, and then we'd put it out for advertisement, as I mentioned, in March, and then come back to you all for award, hopefully with some great bids. On the reuse distribution mains, you may have seen where we've had a press release about River Hill Boulevard. Now the piping is now going to be installed along that roadway this coming week. And the Kerrville Sports Complex and the Kerrville Field House, or the DBAT building, you heard earlier from Stuart that ribbon cutting's on the 17th, and then we have an open house on the 20th.
Mr. McDaniel, could I stop you just a moment on the reuse lines? We did make, I don't know if Stuart made the announcement, but that entrance into River Hill on the 173 side, it's inaccessible at the moment to do the line at that point. Is that correct?
I believe one lane is open.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is one lane open.
I believe so.
Okay.
In fact, it was 2 lanes most of today.
Okay.
They just squeeze them down.
Yeah, there'll be through traffic, but just to warn the drivers that there'll be activity in that area.
Okay.
And then other than that, you can see the different projects listed, as well as an attachment that includes all of the tech stop projects in the area that you might have an interest in. So with that, Mayor, I'd be happy to answer any questions now or perhaps after the meeting. This will also be posted online as we usually do.
Okay. Well, since we just got it, I don't see any request to speak, but we will take our time to do that. Thank you for that update. Item number 9A is appointments to the Library Advisory Board. Ms. Craig?
We have 3 terms that expired November 22nd, 2017, and 1 term that's due to expire November 22nd, 2018. We have 3 applications on file. 1 of the 4 openings will be filled by a representative appointed by Kerr County. The interview team were Councilmembers Summerlin and Ferguson, and Laura Bechtel, the City of Kerrville Library Director, has confirmed that all applicants meet the requirements for this board.
All right. I don't have any requests to speak at this point. I just have one question before we move to make a motion here. But on the appointment from the Friends of the Library, I'm just kind of learning myself about this, and this will be a question for Mr. Hayes. But we have a very, very worthy candidate who has served there since April of 2013, actually. And I know that the terms of office listed in our board book is 2-year terms. So is that something we need to amend? I discussed this with Ms. Craig, and obviously we're over that. And like I said, very, very capable
She exceeds the 2-year terms,
lady.
but she's an appointee by the Friends. She's not always me.
You know what? I haven't talked to Ms. Craig about this, so I'm
Okay.
happy to look at it.
That's fine.
There might be some inconsistency. We might have to clean up some language in our board rules.
Okay.
But
And that, I don't believe that affects any of our candidates this evening, so.
Does it? I thought this box was the way.
No, it's Ms. Smith.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So no. Okay, so
So
Team?
we have agreed that since there are 3 vacancies for the city council to fill and 3 good volunteers, it's easy. We approve the 3.
could you name their names for the record?
Certainly, David Lipscomb, Astrid Fox, sure, and I have to look at my notes, I'm sorry, and Carol Wickman.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion.
Somebody else did, I think.
No.
I don't think anybody made the motion.
Did you hit the motion
Oh.
button?
Oh, I'm sorry, I've gone to look at my note. Motion.
Okay, now we have a motion.
And I'll second that.
And now we have a second to approve the appointments to the Library Advisory Board as stated. We're ready to vote.
All votes are in.
Thank you very much. And motion does carry 5-0. David, I don't know how you just slipped by there again. It was a tough call. Thank you, everybody who's willing to serve there. Okay, item number 9B is appointments to the Planning and Zoning Commission. I'll note on here, as is on here, this item is eligible for discussion in executive session under section 551074, as is item 9C.
Planning and zoning, we have 2 regular positions with terms that expired January 1st, 2018, and 1 alternate term that is due to expire January 1st, 2018. And we have 4 applications from persons who meet the qualifications from this board. The interview team were Councilmembers Baruti and Ferguson.
All right, I don't have anyone. Is there any motion on this particular item?
I'd like to make a motion. I'd actually like to make a motion that the next 2, 9B and 9C, both go into executive session for discussion on it.
Under,
Is it 551074?
all right.
Okay.
Motion to go into executive session on items 9B and 9C. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second.
My screen turned off.
Yeah, he just went blank.
Okay, we have a motion to enter executive session on items 9B and 9C. Cast your vote, please.
All votes are in.
Thank you. and motion carries 5-0. And so at this point, at 6:41, we will enter into executive session for items discussion 9B and 9C. All right, let the record show that we are back from executive session into regular session at 7:35 p.m. Let the record state that there was no action taken in executive session. And the way we do that now is I will ask for action on any, if there is any, on item number 9B, appointments to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Do I have any motions?
Yes.
Okay, would you state it?
Make a motion.
Yes. Would you make the motion?
Yes. Make a motion that we reappoint the three that are up for reappointment.
And those names?
Donald Barnett, Thomas David Jones, and Mike Siegerman.
For the positions as, which positions?
Same positions.
Exactly the same positions?
Exactly the
Okay,
same
with the
positions that they
terms.
have been in, yes.
All right. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second.
I'll second that.
Okay. To appoint the persons as stated to the Planning and Zoning Commission with terms to expire as discussed. Cast your vote, please.
All votes are in.
Thank you. And motion carries 5-0. Oh. Item number 9C, under 11, is there any action, any motion to be made on appointments to the Economic Improvement Corporation?
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
I move that we appoint Mark Bosma to the position formerly held by Mr. Wilson. So the one that expires in June of 18, I guess, right?
Yes.
I'm making a motion for one person right now.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion and we have a second to appoint Mark Bosma to the unexpired term of Jim Wilson.
Do you see my red light?
I'm sorry. No, because she put this on my screen.
Uh-oh.
Can you back up? I'm sorry, out of them.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. My fault, it's a little tiny red mark.
I'd like to repeat my objection to the occasion for this appointment, not to Mr. Bosma personally. But I think firing Jim Wilson was unfair, undemocratic, unreasonable, and an extremely bad precedent set. It is the thing I'm most ashamed of in the time I've been on the council as an action of this body. But having said that, I don't intend to withhold my vote for the replacement.
Okay. And I want to take the moment to thank all of the applicants. We had a wonderful pool of applicants. We had 11 total applicants, very qualified, all of them, and I want to thank everybody. And I hope that whoever is not appointed would keep your applications on file. There will be 3 more positions open in June, and so we just want to make that statement as well. So we have a motion and we have a second to appoint Mr. Bosma to Jim Wilson's unexpired term. We are ready to vote.
All votes are in.
Thank you, Ms. Craig. And the motion carries 4-1. Are there any other motions?
I'll make a second motion.
Okay.
I'd make the motion that we appoint Kinney to the position vacated by Mr. Stafford, correct? The one that expires in June of 19?
Is that correct, Ms. Craig?
Okay.
Second.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second to appoint Kent McKinney is going to come up here shortly. To the term of Mr. Stafford's. All right. A motion by Mr. Broody, a second by Mr. Ferguson. All in favor? I'm sorry. Please cast your vote. Thank you. And motion carries 5-0. All right. Having no other items on the agenda, I thank everyone for staying. I thank everybody for your participation. Happy New Year. We will adjourn at 7:40 p.m.